Assalamualaikum and hi! My name is Nurul Syamimi binti Yahaya from EDU550. In this video, I will share about designing the physical environment of the classroom. Let's watch the video first.
Physical classroom. You can support positive behavior in learning by organizing classroom furniture, materials, and activities. To set up the classroom's physical environment, start with a clean, uncluttered room. Then, position desks, chairs, and bookshelves so that you're able to move freely and monitor students. This teacher has arranged the room so that he can see and reach all the students in the room. Too much clutter makes movement and monitoring difficult. Areas that are out of sight invite behavior problems. When you can reach every student, you can easily deliver positive reinforcement or nip problems in the bud. Consider placing students who need extra support in closer proximity to you. That way, you can give immediate reinforcement and feedback. Now let's talk about materials. Students are more engaged and better behaved when they've been provided access to the classroom materials that they need. This sets up students for success. If you don't want students to have access to teacher materials, keep the materials out of reach. When you decorate your classroom, strike a balance in the use of signs, posters, artwork, and miscellaneous objects. Too little can make a classroom seem cold and uninviting. Too much can be overstimulating. Now think about activities. Is there a setting for group activities? Is there an area for individual work? Is there a place where students can go to settle down when they're having a hard time? When you carefully consider the function of furniture, materials, and activities, you can design a classroom environment that promotes learning and positive behavior.
Why designing the physical classroom important? Firstly, it is one strategy to enhance the learning environment and stop undesirable behavior before they start is by setting up the physical environment of the classroom. Secondly, according to Savage, 1999 wasting 1992, the classroom setting serves as a representation for students and other for what teachers value in terms of behavior and academic achievement. If a classroom is not properly organized to support the type of schedule and activities a teacher has planned, it can impact the functioning of the day as well as limit what and how students learn. However, a well-arranged classroom environment is one way to more effectively manage instruction because it triggers fewer behavior problems and establish a climate conducive to learning. Next, how students are seated, where they are in relation to the teacher, how the class member move around the space and the general atmosphere, and other all fall under category of the classroom's special organization. The research on classroom environment suggests that classroom should be organized to accommodate a variety of activities throughout the day and to meet the teacher's instructional goals. Important things that need to be known for classroom setup. First, we need spaces for activities. Second, to make sure that we can monitor. Third, to optimize the teacher role and student role. And lastly, to avoid the teacher-centeredness issues. Every teacher likes to arrange his or her classroom layout for the largest student benefits. Students need to focus and see what is going on in the classroom at any given time. Their seating arrangement can help or hinder a student's learning. Although no perfect arrangement exists for all situations, or classroom layout may need to change based on what students need and how their class material is being presented. Now, I will tell 4 basic principles classroom arrangement. First, reducing obstruction in the classroom's high traffic areas. Group areas, bookshelf, pencil, sharpeners, cubes, closet, computer, workstation, and teacher desk are high traffic areas. This location can cause disruption the classroom. To reduce this congestion is to isolate the location and facilitate access for all students. Secondly, the teacher must interact with every student. Making sure the teacher can keep an eye on every student is one of the most important leadership duties in the classroom. This is a highly challenging duty since the teacher must constantly be aware of every people in order to complete it. Between the teacher's desk and the student desk, workstation, computer station, cubes, and so on, there should be any obstruction or blind spot. To ensure the teacher can see each student from whenever in the room, the teacher should stand in every area of the room. Thirdly, common educational materials should be easily accessible. You can reduce the amount of time needed for setup and cleanup as well as the number of distraction and interruption during the class by making sure that educational supplies like workbooks, textbook, crayon, construction paper, and so on are available to both the student and yourself. As a result, the classroom will operate more efficiently. Fourthly, ensure that from where they are seated, each student can see everything. The students also need to be able to see what is happening at all time and in all areas of the classroom. Just like you as the instructor they must be able to see things like television, chalkboard, bulletin board, and freestanding, and so on. They must be able to see the entire area from which you will be teaching in detail. Every student's seat should be occupied by the teacher, who will make sure they can view any presentations made in class. Verify that no one is cooking their necks, getting up from their seats, or squinting to watch a presentation. Taller students should typically sit in the back of the classroom, and shorter students should typically be seated in the front. I will explain about arrangement style in classroom. First, auditorium style. Students' desks are facing the teachers. This design makes it simple for people to move around and typically give the teacher a better view of every student. If you want your student to work individual, this arrangement works well. This is the sample of classroom that use auditorium style. You can see the chair and table arranged in tiers. Next, face-to-face style. It is the type of sitting layout in which all the desks and chairs directly face the teacher and the presentation board, with students having their back to one another. Attending teacher and viewing slide on a projector is a very effective learning technique. Larger classroom can easily accommodate face-to-face style. This is the layout of face-to-face style classroom. Now I will explain offset style. Several students sit at the table. They do not sit right across from each other. Although it might distract some students, this arrangement often distracts with fewer students than a face-to-face setting, and it is useful setting for group work. This picture shows some design of set style. Next, seminar style. Students sit in circular of U-shaped formation in group of 10 or more. If you want group members to interact with one another, this is a highly effective strategy. But if you would prefer less interaction and distraction in the classroom, it can also be very inefficient. So the design use U-shaped seminar style. Chair and tables are arranged like the letter U. Lastly, cluster style. Students sit in groups of 4 to 8 and sit in closely clustered groups. Since students work so closely together, this technique may create disruption. There may also be disagreements between who sits with whom and who likes or dislikes whom, and so on. Activities that involve group cooperation can benefit from this learning approach. We see this style all the time in 21st century classroom. Students are divided into small groups so they can discuss to other friends. The most often seen classroom arrangement style, row seating, reduces talking. So we can see the picture, the arrangement of table and chair. Row seating indicates a teacher ability to walk between students' desks and access learning. Next, we move to the action zone. The action zone is the area of the classroom in which the teacher most successfully engages the student in learning. It is defined in terms of proximity to the teacher. The action zone was designated as the center to rows of the classroom, front to back, and the two adjoining front row seats. According to Cooper and Simmons, students who sit in the action zone often participate more, have more positive attitude, and achieve more than students who sit at the periphery of the classroom. Simply by moving around the room, you can move the action zone to increase your proximity to students and include them in the action zone. You don't have to move students, you just have to move yourself. There are many benefits to providing different seating arrangement in the classroom. First, arranging desks into circles or U-shape allows for more interaction and collaboration between students, which can lead to a deeper understanding of the material being taught. Second, desk setup in row provide a better visual cue for teachers when it comes to managing student behavior, since they will be able to clearly see who is engaging with the lesson and who may need additional support. Next, grouping desks together also helps create an inviting atmosphere where all students feel comfortable participating in class discussion and activities without feeling overwhelmed by their surrounding. Next, seating arrangement such as those mentioned above not only benefit student learning outcome but also helps foster strong relationship within the classroom community through increased communication and collaboration among peers. And finally, standing desks promote health and energy among learners while encouraging movement which keep them engaged throughout lessons. Now, we move to the tips for implementing different seat configuration in classroom. Firstly, make sure to explain the reasoning behind each arrangement and the associated expectation when introducing new seat arrangement or change so that everyone knows of their intended use. Secondly, give them access to whatever tools or resources they might require so they can establish themselves for success right away. Last but not least, allow intermittent movement throughout the day if necessary, but monitor student behavior by stepping in when necessary. So that's all. Thank you for watching.